Part of me thought that maybe I wasted my money when I was buying these fragrances, because really all of these, except for maybe one, was purchased at full retail. And you guys know how full retail goes these days. Gone are the days of 80 bucks for 100 ml at retail price Macy's, right? Usually now you're looking into the mid 100s, upper 100s for, if you're lucky, a 100 ml. But a lot of times now they're kind of downsizing to 75s and 50s. But given that I cover fragrances on the channel and it's nice to be able to get the information out there, and I can't really wait until they hit discounters to do that, I'm usually buying these new releases at full retail. And some of these don't look too good on paper and they're so expensive. So I placed the order and I'm waiting for it to come in, and I'm thinking, man, you know, is this gonna be any good or what? Luckily, turned out that all of these purchases were fantastic. Now I want to make one thing clear, and that is that I'm not saying you should pay full retail for these right now. Most of these you don't have to anymore, except for maybe one that's still at full retail price, but you can get them basically at discounters now. I would do that. And the other thing is, I have wasted money on fragrances before, definitely, where spent a lot of money, got them in, they sucked. But that's not the case with these. These are really good, so let's talk about it. This first one is a brand new release, and this is gonna be the one that's not quite on discounters yet, but it's Coach for Men Eau de Parfum. So this one's kind of cool. You got two tags this time. Got the metal one and then the kind of quote unquote leathery feeling one there. Got no focus either. Here we go. I love the bottle, right? Not much to it. Gold accenting right here, really sharp. I can't remember what I paid for it. It's going to be well up over 100. Typical Coaches are going for 40 bucks on discounters. So I was thinking, you know, did I just blow a bunch of money on this new release? I got this stuff in. It is exceptionally well. Like, this is a really, really good fragrance. It's got cardamom, leather, and cedarwood. It's really, really solid. So if you take a look at the original Coach, kind of has a Sauvage type of smell. Now this one doesn't really as much, so it is a bit different. Coach Platinum is really good, kind of a vanilla, pineapple, sweeter take on that Sauvage, Coach for Men style DNA. This is just vastly different than both of those. Coach Green, it's different than that too. This one stands out. There is no redundancy within the line here. There's going to be no clashing, so to speak. I kind of look at this one, at least as of the current lineup, the most mature, the most refined, the most well thought out one, so to speak. I just think this one is, again, to use the word solid, you know. It's got good performance, real nice, gentlemanly, masculine smell. It's not going down the sweet, trendy route that a lot of other fragrance brands are doing. It's just, I don't know, it's really, really well done. And it's the type of scent that's gonna work for any situation without question. I mean, really, I gotta spray it again. Might be my scent of the day. We'll have to see what kind of plays out, but man, that's just really, really good, especially that opening. Really, really, really nice. A little bit of that spicy kick from the cardamom, which I love. It's not overbearing on the cardamom note, so don't be thinking Lannoy de Lome or anything like that. It's relatively subtle, but it's there just enough with the woody notes to give it a bit of a spicy kick off the opening, just to kind of get your attention, so to speak. I'm not really saying you should go out and buy this at full retail. I think that in due time, of course, it will hit discounters for a reasonable price, and that will be the time to scoop it up. But for me personally, I don't feel like I lost this scenario, because while I did, you know, pay up for it, it's way better than I thought it was going to be. I kind of thought it was going to be more of a boring throwaway just because it's just an eau de parfum flanker and I wasn't really sure what they were going to do with it, but it's really, really nice. Okay, this next one is pricey, and luckily it's been working its way onto discounters for less, but yeah, retail price on this is it's pretty ugly. Gucci Guilty Elixir, coming in at a 60 ml, okay, so kind of meeting in the middle, I guess, between the 50 and the 75 there that I was talking about earlier. You know, I'm giving you a little bit more, but still not nearly enough. And I don't know, 170 something for retail, just way too much. Of course, I paid that price for it when it just came out, and I really just wasn't for sure at all, because you can look at the notes and it tells you part of the story, but you can't get the full picture really with the note breakdown. Got this one in and tried it, and it is really, really close, in my opinion, to Amouage Reflection Man 45 Extrait, which is an absolute favorite of mine. So you can imagine my excitement when I smelled this one, and it was a DNA that I'm really fond of. And you might think, well, wouldn't that almost make it worse because you have something that smells similar in one way or another? But the other side of that is it's not 100% Reflection Man 45. There's still differences here. You're still picking up on a little bit of that orange blossom Gucci Guilty magic that is used throughout the entirety of the line pretty much. So it has orange blossom, it has vanilla, it has some ambro fix in here, has some patchouli as well. Floral, the white floral components with some of that sweetness is giving it that Reflection Man 45 smell. It's closer to 45 than Reflection Man EDP. You can still get a resemblance there, but just not as strong. And price point on either of them is horrible. Reflection 45 retails for $500 for 100 ml. And again, I already kind of went over the pricing on this. So either way, you're spending a lot of money. The Reflection Man is more out of pocket, but you're getting more volume of scent. This one is less out of pocket, but I mean, this is all you get. Now, granted, little goes a long way. It's a strong performer, okay? It is a parfum, I believe. Yeah, kind of to be expected, strong performer, and it is. So a couple sprays and you're pretty much set. A bottle this size, it's gonna last you a while. And I really was thinking, you know, man, I blew it on this one. I really spent 170 bucks or something on a Gucci Guilty, but it paid off and I love it. And again, at this point, you can get it for less than that retail price, which I would recommend that you do. Let's go for Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Rockstud Noir. It's got bergamot, sage, and ambergris. I mean, that's all they give you. Good enough. That's all you really need to know. It smells wonderful. Kind of a little bit of a grape sweetness I get out of this one, almost fizzy grape. What does that kind of remind me of? You know, that Dunhill Icon type of smell? That texture, okay? Doesn't smell like Dunhill Icon as a whole, but just to throw some names out there to kind of help you figure out where to place this one, that's kind of what it makes me think of a bit. Kind of fizzy, bubbly, a little bit sweet, but then tons of aromatics in here. Nice bright pop of ambroxan too. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Kind of the theme of this video. And really, as far as the Born in Roma line goes, they're all okay. Yellow Dream, not a favorite, but Born in Roma Intense, I really like a lot. It's another one that probably could have almost been in this video. I haven't tried the new Extra Dose. That's on my list to grab, so can't speak to that. But pretty much everything else, they're all fine. They all do the job. They all work. It's just a matter of what you already have in your collection and is it going to be something that will add value to it. And the more you have, the harder it is to really say, yes, this adds value to my collection, because gosh, when you have more than you can ever wear in a lifetime, well, it is value. But this is one that I do enjoy. And so, yeah, it adds value. It's one that I could actually see myself reaching for and wearing. It's not the case with a lot of stuff that I've accumulated. So there's something about this one, something just a little bit different, a little bit special that I do enjoy, and snagged it at full retail, and I don't regret it one bit. And I don't know the pricing situation on this one off the top of my head, given that it's, I think, a little bit more of a, I don't know if it's a limited edition or what, but it's maybe a bit harder to find. So I don't know if you can get it really discounted much or what it's doing. I just know for me, I thought I wasted my money on it, but I actually didn't. So that's why it's in here. All right, this next one I got on discounters, and it's from a brand where I love the designer brand, but I have never tried any from this line, okay? It is Hugo Boss Confident Oud, and it's the collection. You know, I love their fragrances. I love the Boss bottles. Boss Bottled Absolute could be one of the better designer releases we've had over the past couple of years. But, you know, you've got the scent, and now you've got the collection. Yeah, I guess it works. But I, hadn't really heard about the collections, I guess is how you would word that. Just kind of, I guess they're more exclusive / premium line. Hadn't heard anything about them. And this one popped up on Fragrance Buy, and I think I paid around $80 to $90, which isn't horrible. It's kind of on line with Boss Bottled Absolute and Elixir and a lot of the newer releases. So I figured, hey, let's try it. Maybe it's gonna be good. This is more than good. It is actually really, really interesting. And there's two notes that you need to know: oud and bran. And that's all they give you. They're not very generous here. And when you look online, you'll see some comparisons. The first one, and the main one, is Nascimento Baronda. And I've got to say, Boronda's in a league of its own, okay? And I can see where people are coming from, and I can agree a little bit, but it's nowhere near as stringent and pure whiskey stench as Boronda. I mean, that one is to the point where if you don't like whiskey, I mean, and you can't tolerate it, you will just hate the scent. It's that realistic. It is definitely not for everybody. I caution you with something like that on a blind buy. This one is kind of taking a page out of that book, maybe taking a page out of like Killian Apple Brandy a little bit as well, just because the level of sweetness that this one has along with that booziness is one way you could look at it too. Some nice oud in here to give it some woody balance and to kind of tame that sweetness back a little bit, because it could get out of control with this type of DNA. I mean, when you smell it, you'll see what I mean. It's not at all what I was expecting, because the note breakdown is literally oud and bran. And while bran can be used as like a wheat note, kind of like in Hugo Boss The Scent Magnetic uses the bran, but then also like some of the Killian, the boozy Killian fragrances uses like a wheat. That wheat can kind of connect to bran, and that oftentimes can be used with some sort of boozy accord. So you could kind of draw connections there, but I didn't make that connection when I bought it. And there wasn't really any comparisons or anything to go off of. So I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting oud, and that was it. But I got this one in, and I'm like, wait a minute here. This is what I bought, oud and bran. Okay, it's got that, but it also has a whole bunch of a liquor accord as well. So not what I was expecting. I was actually expecting, because I'm not the biggest oud fan as a standalone note, I was kind of thinking I might not like this, but I really do enjoy it. And it's definitely more for the cooler times of the year. I've got a few days left probably here as far as being able to wear this, but then as soon as it starts warming up, this is just going to be too sweet. So definitely something that surprised me in a pleasant way. And last up, we have YSL Myslf Le Parfum. I wasn't really super excited about it because the eau de parfum didn't leave the best impression on me. Now, don't get me wrong, I like how it smells, and there's nothing wrong with it, okay? If you're just looking for something that smells good, good performer, good compliment factor, while you could also go with pretty much any YSL Y fragrance and achieve those same things, Myslf eau de parfum will also work. So nothing wrong with that. Again, it's just depends on what you want. Being said that, you know, when the Le Parfum came out, I was thinking, okay, you know, the eau de parfum wasn't wildly amazing for me. Is this one gonna be? I don't know. This one's now more expensive because it's a Le Parfum. Let's buy it at full retail anyway, and let's just roll the dice on it. So I did. I got it in, and I like it a lot better, to the point where I haven't reached for the eau de parfum at all since having this, whereas I have actually reached for this one on more than one occasion. And again, while that might sound like not all that impressive, you know, compared to all the other favorites that I have, that means something. It's got orange blossom, black pepper, and amber in here, so using that kind of white floral focus, some of the sweetness. But man, there is a texture about this one that is not present in the eau de parfum, and that also doesn't exist in a lot of other designer releases in general, and that's what draws me to this one. Can't really explain it other than try it and you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's not, again, the most unique thing ever, so don't think that this is just like something you've never smelled before. It's still a common DNA. It's just a massive improvement over the eau de parfum, and again, based on my past experience with that one, in my mind, I was thinking that I just blew money on this and I wasn't gonna like it, but I do like it. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. I thought I wasted money on these 5 fragrances. Luckily enough, I didn't. You know, that's just how I do things, blind buys. And that's up to you in terms of if you wanna do that or not. But as I mentioned, most of these now you can get on discounters, and I recommend going that route if you are wanting to purchase. Stay off of retail unless you absolutely have to. So I will link them down below. There's also gonna be a box that pops up. It's about this big over here, and it's gonna say featured products in this video. It's gonna be on one side or the other. Those links will take you to the same place. If I've been referencing prices, that's where they'll be. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.